Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Journey and you are tuning into my Q1 reading wrap up. So I started these last year and I really love them. I read relatively a lot during the year, so wrapping up my reading quarterly instead of yearly helps me keep everything kind of organized, and it's a little bit easier than going through my whole list from start to finish of the year. Q1 was kind of all over the place. All right, I started off really good in January and then I kind of fell off in February, and then it kind of took me a little bit to really crank it back up to my usual reading during March. So this wrap up is, I don't know, it's gonna be a lot less, I think, than usual, just because I'm still trying to get back to my regular reading habits from whatever the hell slump I was in. Okay, y'all, I don't really even know if I could call it a slump. It was like every single day I was trying to read and I just wasn't feeling it. I would listen to an audiobook for like 5 minutes, turn it off. I'd pick up my Kindle, read for like 2-3 pages, and I'm like, I'm not feeling this. Okay, don't even get me started on trying to read a physical book. Didn't happen. So now I feel like I'm finally in the groove, but also I'm still trying to get back to where I was. Okay. Anyways, I do have my handy dandy iPad. All right. If you know, you know what it means when I have this out. If you don't know, learn quickly. If you don't know, it means I mean business. Okay. Yeah. So without further ado, let's get into this wrap up. Just for clarification, I am going to be getting my stats from Storygraph, Fable, Goodreads, and that's it. Those are all of my book tracking apps, and so I'm pulling data from all of those. In Q1, I had a total of 35 books read, okay, which is not that bad. But I think last year I had like 40 plus, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe. I don't know. I'll link the video below and you guys can tell me if if I'm right. I read 24 audiobooks, 8 Kindle books, and 3 physical books. In January, I read 14 books. In February, I read 9 books. And in March, I read 12 books. In Q1, I did complete 3 series. I love it when I complete a series because I feel like it takes me so long to complete them. So when I finally complete it, I'm like, yes, I'm very excited, okay? The series that I completed were the Danger Family series by India Carter. Woo! This series is a spicy one, okay? It is so good. I'm obsessed. The Danger Family series consists of Tempted by Danger, Captivated by Danger, and Intrigued by Danger. I really enjoyed India Carter's writing. I read all 3 of these books via audiobook, and oh my gosh. Wow. They're hot, they're spicy, they're so romantic. Also, this series follows the Danger brothers, and I believe that the author is going to be releasing books including the sisters. They have 2 sisters, I believe, so 5 kids in total. But currently, these 3 books are only about the brothers. And wow, loved them all. They're all really mean. Okay, like mean AF. Like, don't even get me started, but I digress. I really enjoyed the FMCs of each book. I want to say these are literally considered eroticas. I've never read an erotica before these books. I don't know if they are for sure confirmed that they're eroticas, but if they're not eroticas, they should be. They should be classified as that 100%, okay? The next series I completed this quarter was the Maple Hills series by Hannah Grace. The books in this series are Icebreaker, Wildfire, and Daydream. So this series is a long time coming to be completed, okay? Apparently I read Icebreaker in 2024, which seems really far, but I did read that when I first started to get back into reading. Believe it or not, that was the very first smut book I've ever read, which is really crazy because if you look at the cover, you would have never guessed it was smut. Yeah, that's what happened to me. I thought it was gonna be a cutesy little hockey romance. Nah. No. That is a smutty ass book, okay? Very smutty. The other 2, not so much. The third one is really like not smutty at all for real. I mean, they have sex scenes, but they're not really like as smutty as Icebreaker. Icebreaker was like overly smutty. I was like, whoa, what are y'all doing? Anyways, I read Icebreaker in 2024, Wildfire in 2025, and now finally I read Daydream in 2026. I thoroughly enjoyed these books. Honestly, there's nothing too like memorable about them. I really enjoyed Icebreaker, but I think that's because I was getting back into reading and I didn't really have anything to like compare it to. Now that I've been reading consistently for the past like 2 years or so, Daydream and Wildfire really didn't like match up to like everything else that I was reading. So I believe I rated Daydream 3 stars and Wildfire I think was probably a 4-star. I enjoyed the books. They're funny, they're cute. I love how they're interconnected, but they're not really like my jam for real. So enjoyed them. Would I recommend them? I don't know. Figure it out for yourself. Read like Icebreaker and see if they're for you. I don't know. The final series that I finished in Q1 was the Honey and Spice series by babalola. I don't really know if this would be considered a series. I guess I could say it's a duology. I don't know how the author says that these are. Like Sweet Heat is literally the sequel to Honey and Spice. You can read them out of order. You can just only read Sweet Heat or only read Honey and Spice. But I think the stories are best read Honey and Spice, Sweet Heat. Like how the author wrote them is how you should read them. So anyways, loved these both. I love Sweet Heat. It was so grown and sexy and hot and spicy. And like not even like hot and spicy in like a sexual way, which is like hot and spicy in like the way that the main characters feel about each other. Like, babalola, the author you are, the way that she writes is just beautiful. Like, I mean, everything she writes is poetry. It's kind of insane. I really, really enjoyed both of these books. They were both a 5-star for me. I'm so sad that Kiki and Malachi's story is over, but I'm really excited to see what else the author writes in the future. Both of these books have a special place in my heart. And since we're on the topic of series, I did in fact start 3 series in Q1. So let's get into those books. I started the Curve series by Danielle Allen, and these books are Curvy Girl Summer, Plus Size Player, and Big Girl Blitz. So I finished Curvy Girl Summer and Plus Size Player in Q1, and I actually ended up reading Big Girl Blitz in Q2, so we'll talk about this series more in my Q2 reading wrap up. I really enjoyed this series. I love Danielle Allen. She is a phenomenal writer. I think this story is really important for women who look like these main characters, but also even women who don't look like these main characters. I read them all via audiobook and I ate it up. I loved the narrators that they had for this series and it was just so good. Next up is the Game Changer series by Reid. So if you don't know what this series is a 7-book series. I think the 7th book is coming out next year in 2027, but I still think she wants to add more books after that. Anyways, right now it is 7 books in the series, okay? And this is the book series that Heated Rivalry, that's on HBO, is based off of. And so I watched a little bit of the series and then I was like, I want to read the books because if you know, you know, I am one of those people that I need to read the book that the TV show, the movie is based off of before I watch said movie or TV show. So I was like, let me read this series. So as of right now, I've read 3 books in the series. I've read Game Changer, Heated Rivalry, Tough Guy, and I just started book 4, which is Common Goal. And then there's 3 other books, which are Role Model, The Long Game, and Unrivaled. This is a really, really long book series. I genuinely kind of like them. I usually do not read romances. The first book in this series, which is Game Changer, that was the very first romance I've ever read. And I was like, oh, I kind of like it. I don't know if I said what this series is about. It is a hockey romance series. I love them. Heated Rivalry definitely lived up to the hype. I see why they made that a TV show. All the other books I've read so far, like Game Changer, that was okay. Tough Guy, that's my least favorite of the series so far. Yeah, no. But I am enjoying the series. I do like Rachel Reid's writing. And yeah, I'm excited to see how the rest of the series go. I can't wait to finish watching Heated Rivalry, the TV show. And yeah, that's it on the Game Changer series. And the last series I started in Q1 is the Heart Beach series. So I was able to get an e-arc of The Summer Girlfriend by Kristina Forrest. This was my very first book by Kristina Forrest and it won't be my last. I've been wanting to read the Green Sisters series for so long. I have all of the books, I just haven't read them, but I am like way more excited to read them now that I've read The Summer Girlfriend because I loved The Summer Girlfriend. It was so cutesy. It was just like the perfect summer read and I really enjoyed her writing. So I didn't know that this was going to be a series, but it is going to be a series. I'm assuming it's going to be a 3-book series. The Summer Girlfriend isn't even out yet, so she's really promoting that. She hasn't really said anything else about the rest of the books in this series, but it has been confirmed that it will be a series, so technically I started the series already. And now for one of my favorite parts of these videos is where I talk about my Fable stats. So Fable has this thing where they give you a reader summary, which is basically where they kind of get a little bit of all the books that you're reading or that you have read, and they give you a summary of like the books that you like, I think. And also my most read authors of the year so far. So let's get into it. Also, I'm filming this video in May. So it's a little late, but Q2 isn't over yet. So I guess I'm kind of still on time. All right. So because I'm filming this in May, this is going to have a little bit of stuff from Q2 included, but I make the rules. So we're going to still talk about it. Okay, thanks. My current reader summary is as followed. Emotional explorer. Your shelf is stocked with dramatic narratives of love, freedom, and self-discovery. But all of these inspiring insights arrive through thrilling plots and dark secrets. These stories have empowered your own journey of self-discovery. Why do they kind of eat? I like that. I like that a lot. I love these. My current streak on Fable is 49 days. Like I said, I went through a little slump in February/March. So my streak definitely restarted probably like once or twice. So for me right now, 49 days is amazing. It really is. I love that for me. Okay. All right. Right now, my most read genre is romance, which is crazy because I don't think it's usually romance. Next up is thrillers, and then literary fiction, and then LGBTQ plus books because I'm reading the Game Changer series. And then mystery is coming in at number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, number 5. That's the 5th most read genre that I have. My average rating stars so far this year is 3.8. Again, I don't know how they tally that up. That seems kind of low. Also, these are called reading insights. They're called reading insights. I don't know why I couldn't I was trying to say that earlier, but they're called reading insights. Okay, so these are my Fable reading insights. Okay, so my top 5 most read authors of the year are all tied at 3 books. So that's funny. All right, we have Alice Feeney, Danielle Allen, India Carter, Rachel Reid, and Rebecca Yarros. Okay, that's kind of diverse. All right, because they all write different types of books. So I kind of love that. All right, y'all, now it's time for what y'all have been waiting for, what I have been waiting for. Okay, it's what this booktube is all about. It's time to yap about some books. All right, so in Q1, I had 4 5-star reads, 20 4-star reads, 10 3-star reads, and 1 2-star read. Also, that means I had 0 1-star reads, which I love because I do not like giving out 1 stars. I don't even like giving out 2 stars, but it is what it is. All right, let's get into my 5-star reads. So starting off in no particular order, Hold You Down by Tracy Brown. If I talk about this book for too long, I'm going to start crying. I posted a short about this book. I'll link it below. But this book had me sobbing, sliding down the wall, crying, wanting to throw up. One thing Tracy Brown is going to do is she's going to pull every single emotion out of you. This book made me laugh. It made me cry. It made me freak out. Okay, I wanted to throw it at the wall. I tabbed it up like crazy. And it was so good. So Hold You Down is about Lennox and Mercy. They are 2 sisters in New York in the late 80s and early 90s. Okay, they're in New York City. And they each have 1 son. And so their sons kind of grow up like brothers almost because the sisters are so close. And the story just unravels in such a crazy ass way that I would have never guessed, but I should have because it's Tracy Brown. And if you know, you know. Okay. She was not an author to take it easy on her readers. I mean, I love Tracy Brown's writing. She's one of my favorite authors ever. And I'm so excited to continue reading more books by her. But this book, I wish I did a reading vlog for it. But wow, if you've read this book, then you know. If you haven't read it, you should definitely read it. But you are in for a time. And in not a good way, almost. If you're looking for a book that's going to literally tear you up, this is the book for you. This is the book for you. My next 5-star read of Q1 was Grown Women by Sarai Johnson. So this book, I am a sucker for a multi-generational book. I love them so much. I can't tell you why, just something about an author being able to tell these stories in one book, but through so many generations, it's crazy. I think it takes such talent. And I think that Sarai Johnson hit the nail on the head when it comes to doing that. So this book is about 4 generations of women in a family. And it is just, it is heartbreaking. It's heart-wrenching. It is amazing. Okay, because there are so many good times, but so many bad times. Okay, and you really see how each woman is trying so hard to do better than her mom did. And they fuck up and it's really bad sometimes. This book was just so heavy from start to finish. I really, really enjoyed Sarai Johnson's writing. I really enjoyed how the character development of each character and being able to go back and forth through the different years. Usually I do not like multiple timelines, but I didn't mind it in this book. I think that it flowed very, very well. And I just loved it. I loved it so much. I listened to this via audio and I finished it in like a day. It was so good. I didn't want to turn it off. I just loved it so, so much. I really want to get a physical copy and kind of mark up the different things that stood out to me. I think stories like this between women, between Black women, are so important. I think I said this recently in a different video, but it's like, I don't have my grandmother or my great grandmother. They both passed. And so I don't have those matriarchs in my family anymore. And so being able to read stories like this, where it's like so many generations of women, it warms my heart. And it's just like so cool to see that in book form, because I don't have that in real life. And so also it just kind of like reminds me of all of the sacrifices that the women who came before me probably had to go through for me to be able to break the generational curses that I'm breaking today. And it kind of puts everything in perspective, you know? But I loved this book. It was so good. I definitely recommend it. Next up, I have Intrigued by Danger by India Carter. So this book is the 3rd book in the Danger Family series, and I was definitely intrigued before I started reading. And then I read and I was like, oh, period. I ate this book up. I listened to it via audio. It was so good. This book is about Declan Danger and Elle. And so Declan is in like a 20-year relationship. All right. Things are getting kind of stale. And so him and his partner are like, let's open up the relationship. Okay. I would not advise that, but y'all do you. Anyway, enter Mistress Elle. All right. And Elle is this woman that lives in like the city that he's in. And they meet each other like by chance, like at a bar or something like that. And then it's just on and popping from that moment. She is a mistress because she does like BDSM and something else. I forget the name for it, but it's crazy. It's a crazy time. It's nuts. But I loved it from start to finish. The scenes that happen in this book are something that I've never even dreamed about. Never even knew they were possible. But now I'm intrigued. And I would like to see some of that played out in real life. I'm gonna cut that. Anyways, this was really good. It was hot. It was spicy. It was lovely. It was so lovely. Declan is mean until it's about Elle. And then when it's about Elle, he is the sweetest little teddy bear. And I loved that. That was so great. And I just really loved how the book wrapped up. And I think that everyone got what they deserved. Yeah. And the last book that I rated 5 stars in Q1 is Sweet Heat by Babalola. I already talked a little bit about this before, so I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Okay? Loved it. I love Kiki and Malachi so much. I think that this book was the perfect ending to their story. I think that sometimes in real life, second chance romances work out. Sometimes they do. Me personally, I'm very much like, okay, been there, done that. We don't need to spin the block. Okay? But I love this for Kiki and Malachi because sometimes it's just like right person, wrong time. And it's okay to take a break, take some time to figure your own shit out, okay? And then come back together when you're able to be a better partner to that person, okay? Because, wow, this was everything and more. So Sweet Heat is about Malachi and Kiki, about like, I think like 6 or 7 years out of college, and they've broken up, okay? But they have to meet back up again because their mutual friends are getting married to each other, and it's a whole thing. Okay, and they haven't seen each other in like 2 years since they broke up. And it's just the story about them trying to find their way back to each other. I loved that it was like kind of drawn out. It wasn't an immediate like, yeah, we're gonna get back together. No. It was very much intentional. It was very much messy, okay? Because it was like, will they, won't they? Like, what is going on? There better be a happily ever after. Like, I was like stressed a little bit, but I think babalola really took her time with these characters. The character development was really great. It was awesome to see flashbacks to what happened. Like, why the hell did they break up? What was the leading up to that? And yeah, I really enjoyed it so much. All right, now on to my 4-star reads. Starting off my 4-star reads in no particular order, we have Homeseeking by Karissa Chen. So this book I do have a reading vlog for, so I'm not going to go too much into it. This book was also published on my birthday, January 7th. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to read it. Also, this is a book that I usually do not read. I would say that it's like historical fiction, historical romance, kind of historical like lit fic. Almost, I guess. It's a historical novel in some sense, okay? And that's not usually my thing, but I really enjoyed this book. I think it was so well written. I think it was very interesting. I think I learned a lot, and I really enjoyed the author's writing. This book is about Hai-Wen and Suchi. They were like 6 and 7, and they met in Shanghai, where they're originally from. And this story kind of takes on a life of its own. Okay, they both get separated due to Hai-Wen going in the military, and then Suchi, she goes down her own path. And like, you see their stories told from different POVs over the course of like 40 years. Like, it's a crazy long time. Okay. And it's like, will they ever get back to each other? What is happening? Like, but it was good. Like, I'm not going to talk too much because I already did a reading vlog, okay? But go read it. I hope you enjoyed it if you read it. I think that it is an incredibly important story to tell, and I really appreciated the author's writing with keeping everything with how she wrote the book. I don't know how to better explain it, but I just really enjoy how she wrote the book. Next up, I have The Love Audit by Lucy Eden. So this was actually the very first book that I finished in the new year. Okay, so that was really fun. I read this via audio, I believe, and I really enjoyed it. This is my very first book by Lucy Eden. It will not be my last. I loved this book. It was really good. Also, it was spicy. Was not expecting that, like at all. I just thought it was going to be like a cutesy little romance. It wasn't like overly spicy, but just the fact that spice was even included, I was like, oh, okay, pop off. So The Love Audit is about Jasmine and Derek, and they actually were like childhood friends, but then their families like broke apart. Like their families were like, yeah, no, we're not messing with y'all no more. So they ended up being like rivals. And their companies merge, and they are duking it out for like the same spot because the company can only afford like one of them. So they're like competing for the same spot. So they have to go on a work trip to this city and like do like the best presentation, something like that. I'm like probably not explaining this like really good, but anyways, whatever. You can go look it up. Okay. I really liked it. I liked Lucy Eden's writing. I liked the story actually because there's like some historical kind of touch to it. Okay. And I feel like you can tell that Lucy Eden did her research to kind of be able to talk to what she was talking about in the book in the way that she was talking about it, if that makes sense. It didn't seem like it was just like random stuff. It was like, oh, wow, you definitely like took the time to research this. And I think the author notes at the end, she talked about being like researching it and everything. So yeah, that was really cool. There's nothing else about this book that I have. It was good. I liked it. Go read it. Now I'm going to talk about All Her Fault by Andrea Mara. So this book has been adapted into a limited series on Peacock, and I saw it, and then I saw it was a book. I was like, I have to read the book. So I read the book, and I rated it 4 stars. I really enjoyed this. The plot twist at the end was fucking nuts. I did not see that coming. I really enjoyed the author's writing, and it was just such a crazy premise. I was like, what is going on? It was like twist after twist after twist. I was like, who did what and why? What's going on? Okay. So this book is about Marissa, who shows up to this address to pick up her son from a play date, right? Her son, Milo. She gets to the address, knocks on the door. The lady's like, hey, what's up? And Marissa's like, hey, where's my kid? The lady's like, hey, there's no children here. I don't know. You got the wrong address, wrong number. I don't know what's going on. Marissa's like, wait a second. Where the is my kid? So then we get thrusted into a whole like thing because her son has been kidnapped. And I mean, it just goes 0 to 60 from there, honestly, truly. Like I said, this was a crazy plot twist, a lot of moving parts. It kind of felt like a lot of the times I was like, okay, why do I need to know this? Like, what's going on? But it all came together in the end. I see why it has became a TV show, because it's definitely like fast paced a little bit. It's a little slow in some parts. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I would read another book by her because I did enjoy her writing. I don't know if she has a lot of books left. Also, I had not heard of this author prior to this book, so I definitely want to read some more books by her. Up next, I have Tell Me I'm Not the Villain by Faith Pincay. So I actually rated this book 4.5. This book, first of all, is long as fuck. This book is 736 pages. It's good. It's worth it. I absolutely enjoyed it. I loved it. It was so good, but it was so fucking long. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I actually read it. It's on Kindle Unlimited. So this book is about Lydia. Sweet, sweet Lydia, my girl. Okay. She has been through the ringer, okay, during her childhood, and a little bit during her teen years as well. She has dealt with a lot of death. Okay. A lot of like broken home, like lots of bad things have happened to her. All right. But she makes it through, you know, and she gets to college. She gets to college and she goes down a not so good path. My poor girl. Just thinking about it, I'm so sad. And then she meets Sebastian, and you know, you see them trying to work it out and reading their love story. My heart. Faith really wrote the hell out of this book. I see why it's so long, because there's so many layers to the book. There's so many layers to the book, and there's a lot going on, but it all comes together in the end, and it's really worth the read. It really is. Now I have Curvy Girl Summer by Danielle Allen. So I had heard a lot about this book and this series, and I was like, I'll read it. And then I finally read it and I was like, oh, I see why everyone is so obsessed with it. I don't know if Danielle Allen has other books besides this series, but if she does, I can't wait to dive into her catalog because I'm obsessed. I love her writing. I love how she writes the characters. Like, all three of the characters in the Curve series are some badass bitches. First off, I absolutely ate this book up. I loved Aaliyah, who is the female main character. She was so unapologetically herself. And even though this does have like a little bit of like the miscommunication trope, I think it wasn't too bad, but it was just like, WTF. But that's always how I feel reading miscommunication, because it's like, just have a conversation, please, thank you. Hello? This book is about Aaliyah, who is trying to find a date for like her 30th birthday party. Her family is on her about dating her uncle, who is a fucking dick. Like, boo. I forget his name, but boo, Aaliyah's uncle. Okay, he's just irritating as hell. Anyways, and so she goes to this restaurant/bar for all of her dates. And then she ends up, you know, becoming friends with the male main character who is a bartender at the bar. I forget his name. You know, they start talking and this and the third and all that. So you can only imagine like how it goes. I really enjoyed this book. I rated this book 4.5 stars as well. And I just loved it. I ate it up. I thought it was just kind of refreshing to have a female main character that looks like Aaliyah, that sounds like Aaliyah, that like who is her. And yeah, I really, really liked the book and the series and just all of it. So definitely go read it. Next up, I have The Names by Florence Knapp. This book is about Cora. All right. And her husband is named Gordon, and she has a daughter named Maya. And she recently had a beautiful baby boy. And in her husband's family, every boy that is in the family is named Gordon. She doesn't want to name him Gordon, also because her husband is not the best husband, and you will find more about that in the book. Honestly, he's not anybody that should get someone named after him, honestly, truly. So basically the book is told in 3 different like sections, if that makes sense. It was kind of confusing. I literally had to start it over and read it out of order for it to make sense to me. Basically, the story is told in a way that she chooses 3 different names, and we follow the baby with each way that he's named. So we follow him if his name is Gordon. That's how we see how his life plays out if his name was Gordon. Maya says that she wants to name him Bear. And so Cora's like, yeah, let's name him Bear. And so we see how his name is if he was named Bear. And then I forget the third name, but there's a third name and they're like, oh, I think maybe Julian. I think it was Julian. And we see how his life would be if he was named Julian. So this was a very interesting book. I really liked the way the author laid it out. And it was kind of sad. Actually, I cried now that I'm thinking about it. It was kind of sad. And it's just, it was kind of heartbreaking also. And it brought up a lot more emotions than I thought it would. But it kind of, pulls you back into like, what's in a name? Like, the book asks, can a name change the course of someone's life? And it's like, dang, does it? Because I mean, if your name is like Lucifer, I don't know. I feel like that name comes with kind of a negative connotation. So it's like, before you even walk into a room, people are like, his name is Lucifer? Like it's already, and so yeah. I don't know why that name popped into my head, but that's just what I was thinking about. Anyways, this is a great book. Definitely read it. And it was really interesting. I really liked the different POVs, even though they were just a tad bit confusing because you also get like Maya's POV, Cora's POV, and then also the son's POV, whichever one he was. So it was a lot of back and forth through the years. It was a lot, but like I said, I really did enjoy it. Now I have If I Ruled the World by Amy Dubois Barnett. I rated this book 4.25. I absolutely loved it. It was really good. I kind of wanted a little bit more from it. Also, kind of wanted it to be like maybe a little bit longer. I don't know. I just feel like it was kind of missing something, which is why it's like 0.25. But I thought it was still really, really good. Like it wasn't just a 4-star. Like it had a little oomph, This was such a refreshing book. I don't think I read a book like this, but I really, really enjoyed it. It was so good. I loved the writing. I loved the main character, even though she got on my nerves a little bit, okay? So this book is about Nikki Rose, and she is the only Black editor at this prestigious fashion magazine, okay? And she wants to work herself up, but it's like, it's not happening because she's Black, unfortunately. This book is set in the early 90s, I believe, and you can really feel that through the book. The people that the author referenced, the music the author referenced, the different type of things the author referenced, it's like, oh wow, like it really does feel like you're transported into the 90s, and I love that. So Nikki ends up leaving that magazine, and she ends up becoming the editor-in-chief of like a new hip-hop magazine that's kind of failing, and she has 6 months to like make it be better and like pull it up. And so you are following her in this crazy job trying to figure out what the hell she's going to do to save sugar. And I loved it. I ate it up. It was super good. I believe this is actually going to become a TV series on Hulu, and I'm excited. I think it's so good. It's really different. I really, really, really enjoyed the author's writing. Now I have Where Sleeping Girls Lie by Faridah, àbíké-íyímídé. All right, this book was kind of like spooky in the beginning, and then it took a turn. I was like, whoa, how did we get here? So this book is about Sarai, and she's starting her junior year at this really prestigious high school. She was homeschooled, but now she's starting at the new school. And her first like week in the school, her roommate goes missing. What is happening? And so you follow her and like the missing roommate's friend trying to figure out, well, what is happening? And a lot of spooky stuff starts happening. She starts getting like mixed messages and all of this stuff. And it's like, okay, what the fuck is going on? Also, mind you, this is like YA. So I already don't really like YA. All right, but I did enjoy this book. I really enjoyed the author's writing. The way that this book turned and had like a whole crazy ass plot twist, I was like, oh, what? Did not see that coming. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend it. It's just long. It's a really long book. I read it via audio, and the audiobook was like 15 hours. It's good. It's just long, but I did enjoy it. All right, and the last book that I'm going to talk about of my 4-star reads this quarter is Dear Debbie by Frieda McFadden. Okay, so yes, I am a Frieda McFadden fan, y'all. I am. She writes really good popcorn thrillers. She does. It is what it is. All right. I read this, I think like the week that it came out, because this is a recent release for her, like earlier this year. I think I read it in like February or March. This book was crazy start to finish, which makes sense for a Frieda book. It was super quick. I read it in like 2 or 3 days. So this book is about Debbie. Okay. And Debbie has a advice column, but then her advice starts getting a little crazy, to be frank, and she's like fired and it just goes downhill from there. Okay, the plot twist in this is crazy. I'm also still a little confused about some things, but overall, I liked it. It was really good, and it was, you know, regular good old Frieda. I feel like if you're in a reading slump, this will get you out of your slump. Like, I wanted to know what was happening. Like, I needed to keep pushing because I was like, what is going on? I'm like, how is any of this connected? Any of this? I'm confused, but I need to keep going. You know, like, what's tea? What's going on? And it was really crazy, the advice that she was giving those people. I was like, what is going, Debbie? Are you good? You're not good. And that's okay. We're going to figure out why you're not good. Now let's get into my 3-star reads of Q1. Starting off with Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I am an Alice Feeney fan, but this book just... She was doing a lot in this book. All right. Honestly, it didn't really like make sense, but I feel like she just made it make sense, if that makes sense. I don't think that does, but I don't know how else to explain it. I actually rated this 3.5 stars, and I think that's very generous because she was just doing a lot in this book. All right. This book is about Adam and Amelia. Okay. They're married and they go on a weekend trip to this cabin in a remote location. Nothing could go wrong, right? Until everything goes wrong. Okay, the power goes out. Something is like making them uneasy, like somebody's in the house, like what's going on? And it just goes downhill from there. It really does. Would I recommend this? I don't know. I think yes, but also maybe not. Like, let's just say this is probably my least favorite Alice Feeney book that I've read. And I've read like 5 of them. So take that as you will. Next is Best Offer Wins by Marissa Kashina. The female main character was fucking crazy. And that's all I gotta say. Like, she was off her rocker for real. Like if you Google unhinged FMC, this book is going to be the top search. I promise you. This book is about Margot, okay? And her husband are trying to buy a house. It's been 18 months and they have put up 11 bids and they all got shut down. Okay, they've all been like outbid or whatever. And she's losing her mind. And then finally she finds the perfect house. She does. And then something goes wrong. And then it all goes downhill from there. It all goes downhill from there, and it's just not pretty. I mean, it literally like goes from 0 to 60. By the end of the book, I'm like, how did we get here? How did we get here? This is crazy. I liked the author's writing. I hated the FMC, hated the MMC. Yeah, I would have liked a different ending. I don't know how she would have been able to do that ending, but I would like it to have been different because the ending really was just, it just pissed me off. I was just like, so we did all of that for what? For what? Like, you did all of that for what, bro? Pissed me off, but read it and see. I don't know. Now I'm going to talk about Half His Age by Jeanette McCurdy. Let's turn this book over because I do not like that cover. I don't like that cover. I really don't. I'm actually not going to talk too much about this because I did just recently upload a reading vlog for it. Go watch it. Thank you. It's linked below. But I will say I did tab up this book quite a bit, surprisingly, because I rated this 3.5. No, I rated this 3 stars. So for this to be a 3-star book and I tabbed it up this much, I like the writing. It was crazy. It was really, really crazy. Go watch the vlog. And that's all I'm going to say. Up next, I have Daddy Issues by Kate Goldbeck. So this book is about Sam, and she is a 20-something, still living at home, doesn't really have literally anything fucking going for herself. And she pissed me off the whole book. And that's honestly why this was a 3-star, because she had like 0 character development, like at all. It was just like annoying because it gets to a point that it's like, okay, you are the problem and you need to kind of like get your shit together. I digress. Anyways, all right, there's Sam. And then she gets a new next door neighbor. His name is Nick and he is a daddy. Okay. He has like an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old. Him and the child's mother like recently split. And so he moved into the apartment next door with his daughter. Both of them kind of like are just, they end up like having a relationship of some sort and, you know, all that whole thing. And it's just, I don't know. It just seems like they both have like nothing going for themselves and they're like, let's get together. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. And it's, I don't know. Both of the characters, I was like, y'all don't got nothing else better to do. Okay. I enjoyed the author's writing, I guess. It just kind of felt mediocre. I feel like that sounds kind of mean, but I mean, I just mean that in like, it wasn't groundbreaking, but it wasn't like horrible. So it was just like mid. Yeah. I don't know if I'd read something else by her. I kind of want to. She has another book, but I think I'm kind of cool off her. Like I'm not running to go read another book by her, but it was okay. Now I have Night Crawling by Leah Motley. So I rated this book 3.75 and I thought that I was going to like this a lot more than I did because I love this author's writing. I read The Girls Who Grew Big and that was a 5-star for me, I think, or it was like a 4.75. Like I rated that book very, very high. I really loved it. I loved her writing in that book. And then I read this book and I was like, oh, okay. I can definitely see how she has like refined her writing to her newest release because I feel like these are like by two different authors, honestly. This book is about Kiara and her mom is in prison and her dad is dead. And so it's just her and her brother trying to survive and just trying to like make it out the hood basically. And so she drops out of high school, but she's 17 and she can't get a job anywhere. Okay. All right. And somehow she gets into the world of night crawling. Okay. I was not familiar with that term before the book, but you can use context clues to kind of figure out what that means. Okay. Or just Google it. This story actually gets very, very deep and it's like kind of a little bit all over the place, but it just kind of fell flat for me. I'm just still so confused how the main character even got into the mess she got herself in. Like, I'm just like, okay. So yeah, I still love this author. I love her writing, but this one was just a miss for me. All right, y'all. So let's get into my 2-star read of Q1. It was only one book. Thankfully, that's good. I don't like giving books low stars, y'all. So that's awesome. I rated Friends and Liars by Kit Frick 2 stars. This book, this was an e-arc that I got off of NetGalley and from the publisher Atria Books. And I usually really like Atria Books, but this book just missed the mark for me. It was extremely slow. It was so slow. I guessed the plot twist like halfway through, and none of the main characters were likable. None of them at all. So it was just like one thing after another. I was like, I'm not doing this. No. I did finish it by the grace of God, but it just was not for me. All right, this book is about 4 friends. Luca, Harper, Serena, and David. Okay, and there was a 5th friend. All right, her name was Claire. So when the book starts, it's been 5 years since Claire died. Okay, she drowned like New Year's Eve during a New Year's Eve party at like her family's compound because Claire is like really rich and kind of controlled her friends with money and stuff like that. So Claire's family decides to throw like a memorial for Claire on the grounds that she died on. Interesting, but I digress. And so the friends all fly back to like, it's somewhere in Italy, okay? And then they get to the compound and they start getting these little gifts relating to like these different situations that they were in with Claire, like different secrets and stuff like that. And it gets twisty and spooky. All right. Like I said, the writing just was not it for me. And it was slow as hell. Like, I feel like it took so long for the book to really like get popping. Main characters, I was not a fan of any of them. None of them took like accountability for anything that they did. So that was just like, so that's why it was a 2-star for me. I don't think I would read any other books by Kit Frick, but I do have some on my TBR. I don't know. I'll see. I'll figure it out, but it's not looking too good. Okay, y'all, and that is my Q1 reading wrap up. I am so excited for the rest of the books that I'm going to read this year. If you've read any of these books on this list, let me know. Did you like them? Did you not like them? What's tea? Let's discuss. And yeah, that's all I got for this video today, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye.